everyone, this is Krista from Simply Breathe Now, and welcome to June's monthly video. This is June's cover for the month of June, and I'm just going to walk you through this video. We'll just walk you through what this insert does and give you some examples of some of the ideas that you can do in the journal. So for the journal cover, I just did a little tree, and then the title page is just a plain June. Again, every month I do a plain title page so that you can add your creation of any sort that you would like, add any color, any tape, any stickers, any Zentangles, anything that you would like that would make it your own. And then the level 10 life is resurfacing again now in June. It came in February, and so it's coming back again just so that we can do another reflection. So the way the level 10 life works, it's from the Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and what you do is that you pick level 1, or sorry, section 1, which is career and business, and you take a snapshot of how you feel about your career and your business right now out of 10 levels. So I've done a couple of examples. You can do either, this one is like a color example that you can do, and so I said that this one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that I was about 6 on my, out of 10 on my career and business. And then I put a goal on here: improve work, family, business balance. So my career might be pretty happy with it, but I don't feel like I'm getting quite the right balance within my career and my family and my work. So that is why I put a level 6. And then so then you go to the next one, finances, and again that was a level 5. And what did I want to do? I want to increase my passive income, so I put a little bit of a goal there. For recreation and fun, I only put a 4, and this is very out of balance, and so I put a little goal of do one thing per week that's fun or recreational. And so you go around and you do a snapshot, and then so if you were around and you did this in February, you'll be able to compare it. Don't bring out your February version until you've done your June version, because that will give you an idea of how you've give you some reflection. You can see how you've changed up and down. It's not a bad thing if it goes down. It's just a reflection of what's happened. My career and business has gone really up and down, because at one point I was very happy as a stay-at-home mom, and then I was kind of feeling unsettled. So I kind of said, well, it was less than a 10, and then it went up to almost a 9 because I was very happy, and then it went back down again to about a 4, and it just goes up and down because of where I am in my life and what I would consider a career. In the last 2 years, my so-called career has been very up and down. I went from a stay-at-home mom to a small business owner to possibly going back to work as a pediatric physio, so it's been going up and down. Here's another option of doing a level 10 life that I've kind of done. This is a Zentangle version. So I've done the same goals on this side, but instead of using color, I've done a Zentangle, which just adds a little bit of something different if you'd like to do that. So that's how the level 10 life works. It's really good on reflection, and also then if you did do your February, go back and see if you accomplished your goal and before you make your new one. The next page is a memories page, and the way this works is you put different words or doodles or pictures or anything that you want to remember about the month of June, any memories, and then just a little snapshot of what you're currently doing in June. Then we have a goals page, and the way this goals page works, it's goals, projects, any tasks that you're kind of really wanting to get to, and you would break down what those are here, and then you would break them down into simple steps so that you can actually see that you're progressing through different goals. And please give me feedback if this spread is being helpful and if it's being used. If you've been using the inserts for a while, I'd love to hear how this is going. And if you would like to continue to have this in your monthly insert, I really felt that it helped me actually get through some goals or projects. I had them sitting around and I do a bits and pieces, but I never was getting them to completion. So I found by doing this and breaking them down into smaller steps, I was getting more things done. So I'd love to hear from you if that is actually happening. And then there's lots of room over here for notes, doodles, washi tape, stickers, anything that you want to make it a little bit more your own. There's a plain June calendar for you and a place for notes. And then we have the habit tracker. And the way the habit tracker works is you would add the days of the week at the top here on both of these, and then you add what your habits you would like to track. Tracking habits can be absolutely anything that either you want to know if you're doing how often you are doing a certain item, or if you would like to improve on how you are doing something. So people can use anything from water trackers, step trackers. You can do when you go to bed, when you get up, how often you brush your teeth, or well, hopefully you brush your teeth every day, but how often maybe you floss, or how often you wash your hair. You can use it for your kids, how often they have tantrums. If you have young ones, they may not be as often as you feel like, so tracking them in here, you get to see, oh, it wasn't as bad as I feel. I also track things like if I give the kids allowance, because I never seem to remember to do that, so it kind of just keeps it on the radar that I have to give it. I track other things like how compassionate I am, if I am contented, if I feel joy, if I play. I'm not a very good player. I'm pretty good at adulting, but I'm not very good at playing, so I track my playfulness. And yeah, so that's how you do it. And then you go through each day and you say if you've done it or not. So, and you can use different things in these boxes. You can use just color the box in, you can use an X, you can use a circle, you can use a Zentangle, and I have a whole video about Zentangling through your habit tracker, and I will link that below, so please check that out. And then yeah, so then you would go through there. Other people have even asked if they can use numbers. Like a mom asked, she was trying to keep track of how often one of her sons had breakdowns, because he was at that 2-year-old toddler stage. And she's like, can I put numbers in there? And it's, of course, it's your journal. You can do as you like. So she was keeping track every day of how many, with a number, how many tantrums that were happening. And then there's a sleep tracker down here, and a place for a motivational quote, or some more doodles, or anything you would like down there. The next is a gratitude page, and here you just place 2 shortened sentences of things that you're grateful for every day, and there's a space down here for more of your own creation. And then for the mood tracker this month, I have done a feather, and the way this works, I've done a Zentangle feather, but you don't have to. So here's an example, but you can do a color as well. You don't have to do a Zentangle one. So the way this Zentangle one works was I picked a pattern for each mood, and then on each day I added that pattern into the feathers. So you will have to add the numbers. You can either do them chronologically, or you can do them very random. And then, or if you don't want to do a Zentangle, just pick colors for your moods and add your moods in there, and then you will color each feather piece for each day that it corresponds to. So I hope you enjoy doing that. I love doing the Zentangle. That was a really fun way to do the feather for me. And next we do have our financial report, where you on this side you do your income, expenses, and figure out what your cash flow is, and then your assets and your liabilities, and so then you can figure out your net worth. And hopefully what you're seeing is by doing this on a monthly basis, you're kind of getting an overview every month of how your financial house is looking. There isn't a lot of space on here, so it's just to kind of get you started, or to do a summary. You might be doing tracking on other pages, or even in Excel on the computer, but this might be a nice place just to kind of have a snapshot and let it kind of go through. And then there's a blank page, and this is for you to add any spreads that you would like. You might have your own spreads, or I am selling Etsy's single spreads that you can put on sticker paper, and you can add right in here if you like, or you can draw your own. Then the next we have our weekly spread, and the way the weekly spread works is similar to this. You would put the days of the week I have here, and on this version you would put them in there, and then you would break them up into any category you like. So I would do appointments, events, and must-dos when I use this spread. Appointments are things that had time associated with them. Events were things that were just happening that day but didn't necessarily have a time associated. And then must-dos were like, I need to get this done, hopefully, and then I would put them hopefully on that day, but not always it would happen, but it was always like what needed to get done this week. Other people use it for family and home, or work and family, or me and kids. Lots of different versions of how you can do it, or you can just have 2 different boxes and they're not really separated. It's just whatever you like. And then over here you would do your running to-do list for the week. And then you have a waiting on list, which is things that you're waiting for people to get back to you, or deliveries, and then on the horizon box, things that are happening in the future that you just want to keep in your mind, but you don't necessarily, it's not on your to-do list. It's just something that you don't want to forget that's happening in the future. And then we get into our daily spreads. So this is where the bullet journaling really comes into play. You would also have it come into play a little bit on your to-do list, but definitely you'll see it in your daily spreads. So the way the daily spreads are used is that you write down all your tasks for the day, and the tasks happen with a dot. So hopefully you can see this. And so you would write all your tasks down the side here on what you were going to do on Monday. If it's an event, you would put a circle and a time associated with it. Then at the end of the day, you would come back to Monday and you would write either completed, migrated, or rescheduled, or no longer appropriate. So at the end of Monday, I will come and I will reflect on everything that I have put down here. So if I've completed, I will put an X on it. If it's something I didn't get done and I feel that it's still important, I would put an arrow to the right, and I would either migrate it on Tuesday if I felt that that's where it needed to go, or whatever day it needed to be migrated to. If it was something that was canceled and I needed to reschedule it, I would put an arrow to the left, and if it was rescheduled within the next week, I would just put it there. If it was rescheduled for possibly in the future, I might put it back on my to-do list and have it as something that needed to be rescheduled. But at the end of this day, it should look like everything has been completed. If you come to a task where you're like, that's actually no longer relevant and I don't really want to do it, you just scratch right through it. And then at the bottom, if you want to make a note or a comment or anything, you would put a dash. So an example of what a daily would look like would be this. So here are all my tasks, and at the end of this Monday, I had everything. Either I check off if it's an event for some reason. I don't know why I do that. I should probably put an X, but I don't. That's the difference between an event and a task for me, is I check if it's an event and I crisscross if it's a task. And then other things were migrated forward. I put the date underneath the day of the week, and then I add my weather over here. The time bar is at the top, and this spread is very much inspired by Boho Berry, and I'll link her below. So she uses a time bar. She uses the time bar of what she's planning on doing. So when she writes out her task list, she kind of has different things that might have time. She will color code them to that time, and then she kind of plans out what she thinks her day is going to look like. I use my time bar on what I did do. So if I had different events, I would put those in, but then I would leave it blank until I did my reflection at the end of the day, and I would come back and say, okay, this is what happened in my day. You can use them either way, or you don't have to use them at all. You can use it as a sunrise, sunset type calendar. You can use it. The bullet journal is very much use it as it works for your life. So there's no right or wrong way. So this spread again was inspired by Boho Berry. So I will link her below. And again, Ryder Carroll is the creator of the bullet journal. And this is his key for the bullet journal. So I will link that below. If you want more information about Ryder Carroll and about the key, I did do a video about that, so I will link that video as well if you're interested in knowing more about how to do this key system. So after that, we have the rest of the weekly, and the weekly I always add a review, because to me the biggest impact that the bullet journal had for me was that I was writing my tasks down, I was reflecting, and nothing was falling through the cracks because I was migrating or rescheduling if something didn't get done. But also was the reflection. How was I doing? Was I taking the time that I wanted to take to do the things I wanted to do? And I felt this reflection was really helpful in that, so I've shared that with you. So you'll have 5 weeks in here, and then after the 5 weeks you have another 2 blank spreads to add as you like, and then you have a big monthly review. And I see this as a celebration of your month. It's a celebration of you and what you've done and accomplished. So there are lots of boxes that are celebrating, which is accomplishments, big events, what you're proud of, how am I different, and things that you might want to remember that were really big for that month. Also looks at your projects, where you are on them, and your goals that you would like to work on or keep moving forward. And then there's a little bit of reflection. What was challenging for you this month, and what were your personal struggles? Hopefully with those reflections, you'll be able to move forward into the next month without having those occur again. And then the last page is blank, so you can put anything in there if it's something that you want in your next journal, or if you just wanted to add doodles or anything. And then there's the back cover, and that's June. So please, like always, post questions or any comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear how you're using the journals and posting pictures on Instagram or tagging me on Facebook. That would be fabulous. I love to see how you're using them, and so that I can share them with everyone else as well. And I hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.